When Leslie Williams wrote a novel about how she has dealt with abuse in her own life, she called it Shelter, Domestic Violence, Surviving to Thriving 101. The book, published in the spring of 2014, has inspired a pilot project, now completed, at the MS 57 Ron Brown Academy in Bed-Stuy. There are students there who have had their own experiences with domestic violence, and the goal was to support those students without alienating or angering some of their parents.
With us here in the studio to talk about how the pilot came about, how it works, and how it's going to be expanded next fall are Sophia Williams, a parent coordinator at MS 57 who spearheaded this project. Welcome to BK Live.
Thank you.
Welcome. The author of Shelter, Leslie Williams, no relation to Sophia. It is great to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay. And Hashim Locario, a life and dating coach working with Leslie on her next project.
How you guys doing?
Thank you, we're good.
Fantastic.
Thank you guys very much for being here. Let's start with an overview. Leslie, what can you tell us about your book and why you wrote it?
Well, thank you again for having me. And Shelter is actually written as a novel, and it's loosely based on my own experiences as a former victim and survivor of domestic violence. Interestingly, when I started the novel, I already knew that it was going to be something bigger than me. And overall, what this project turned out to be was about self-discovery, which is a universal theme for everybody.
So you mentioned that it became something bigger. How did you incorporate it into the schools? How did you begin to do that?
Well, I realized that because Shelter does not specifically deal with intimate partner violence, that my experience was the same as many others. And part of breaking the cycle of domestic violence is to think about the effects it has on children. So it made sense to reach out to a school and through some type of creative process, make it a little less scary, make it a little fun and exciting, and that's where Ms. Williams steps in with MS 57 Ron Brown Academy.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about how this project sort of meets the economic and social needs of the students, parents, faculty at MS 57 and why you were so drawn to the project?
Actually, I met Leslie when she brought her son to the school. And she was a little hesitant as to whether he should attend the school, and she needed to be comfortable. So that's what I do. We spend a lot of time with her, but not only did we spend time with her, we spent time with her son. And then talking to her and understanding some of the things that she had gone through and finding out about the book, I'm like, you know, a lot of parents go through this. And domestic violence affects children. And if children are affected negatively by some things, it almost absolutely plays a role in how well they do in school. So my goal as a parent coordinator is to bring in as many parents and get them involved in their children's academics, because statistics does show that if parents are involved, children seem to do better. So what we took from the book was not so much her actual experience, but what she did through her experience, and that's empower herself. So having parents empower themselves or other parents is a good thing, and it will positively affect the children. So one of the things that we did do with this is we started off with the book club, so we would be reading the book, and that gave Leslie an opportunity to really explain her purpose in the book. And since we were talking about empowering and growing and doing better overall, we started gathering or getting information for jobs or job training or furthering the education of our parents that might need it or want it. We did do a couple of, you know, little jobs, not much, but it beats a zero. Next year, we're absolutely building on that. I have someone that's going to be coming to the school, and he will be teaching a locksmith course. The requirements for my parents to be involved in that would be to make sure that you're coming to the school, make sure that you're making some attempt, more than an attempt, you need to be actually involved.
Yeah, physically there.
Absolutely, that's a very expensive course. He certifies them. What I'm looking for now, before we actually pull that in, is sponsors, because our parents, a lot of them, don't have the money to pay for the background checks that they need, because you can't have a felony. Okay. Absolutely. So this requires a legal background check. So we're just trying to put all our oars in the water. Our goal is to, if we can change some of the home environments, if we can help to make them better, then certainly we look for better results from our children and the community overall.
Okay. Now, on that note, I want to bring Hashim into the conversation. You know, can you tell us a little bit about how intimate partner violence affects the children in the home and how that plays out in their academics?
Right. Well, basically, you know, when you have an atmosphere of, you know, people not in healthy relationships, that's going to rub off on the children if they're going to see, you know, these things happening. And so, you know, when Leslie brought the project to me, I was excited to be a part of it, because, you know, I'm all about actually, you know, helping people have healthier relationships. And a lot of times when people are in abusive relationships, you know, they start to identify with that abuse, and they start to take on that as their identity, and that plays out through the interactions they have with their partners. And when the children see that, that's what they're, you know, that's what they're taking in. And that's, you know, that actually, you know, it affects them academically also, because if they're in school, if they're doing certain things, you know, they can't concentrate because they're feeling that energy that's coming from the home. Exactly. So we, you know, we really want to, you know, just hone in on trying to have better relationships and work on, you know, overcoming that abuse, and really understanding where it's coming from, why it's there, and how to, you know, make it better for the people that are involved.
Well, so many times, you know, abuse is you know, a hidden hush-hush sort of thing. It's very taboo. We may have neighbors, we may have family members, we may have friends, co-workers even maybe, that are in this situation. But, you know, as an educator, as a parent, you know, with children, friends, and, you know, different, you know, social situations, you know, how do you broach that subject to a child?
Well, you know, very often you see these behaviors. So it's not like you're the normal child and I just approach you. You see behaviors that say something is not right.
Exactly, but how do you broach the situation?
Well, when you see these behaviors, you do have to talk to the child, because you're not sure what it is you're dealing with. And if you get to discover that some kind of domestic violence in the home, or even that the child is experiencing, is what the problem is, you have to gain that child's trust. You really do, and even the parents. They're afraid to speak about it. A lot of times, the fear comes from the unknown. What are people going to say? What are they going to think? So I feel like one of the very first things we need to do is assure them that we can be trusted. And we also have to let them know that we are here to help, and that we want them to do better. So whatever it is that they need, or that we can help them with, they have to feel that that's what's going to happen for them. Because other than that, you're not going to get a lot of them to speak.
And if I may,
please.
Safety and security is paramount. And once that level of trust that Ms. Williams has spoke about and has been established, that's where the next level comes in. And part of the reason why I'm working with Hashim, because there's still this cloak of shame, or this mask of feeling, how shall I say, why me? I wanted to take this topic and bring in a little bit of fun and excitement with it. As odd as that may sound, everyone who has experienced some type of violence is not depressed, is not angry, is not bitter, packaged as damaged good. We are still extremely vibrant, capable of moving on, and if I should say so myself, I'm looking very sexy. So, and I feel amazing. So I have nothing to be ashamed of. And I'm not taking responsibility of another person's actions or behaviors of what they did to me.
Right, and the name of the book is Surviving and Thriving.
Exactly.
So how do you find that the kids are reacting to specific parts of your book? How do you incorporate specific aspects of your book into this program?
Well, this book is not for children because there is some raw language, so it's designed for adults. The goal was to reach the adults to develop the trust to find out what's going on in the home creatively so that we can bridge a better relationship between the school, the parents, and, as Ms. Williams so eloquently noted, the community.
So is there a guide, do all the parents read the book? And then is there a guide to how the book will relate to empowering the children?
The book is written as a novel, so
Right.
it's not clinical, or there's no step-by-step process. The protagonist goes through different experiences that also involves having a love interest. So, and those are all things that we want in life. Everyone wants to receive, give, and be a benefit of good love. So again, this is about self-discovery of the protagonist, and everyone in this room can identify with, once I know who I am, once I'm very comfortable and capable of being my true, authentic self, there is nothing that I can't do.
And so Hashim, in terms of the future of this program, how are you incorporating, what are the next steps that you're taking to continue to develop these things?
Right. Well, you know, basically, why I'm here also is, you know, I want to put a positive spin on what's going on. And, you know, I think a lot of times people, we think relationships are supposed to be bad. Like, oh, there's no drama, so there's no love. It doesn't have to be any drama. It doesn't have to be any, you know, violence or antagonism.
I have a few friends to talk to.
Yeah, so they think, you know, well, oh, if you're not showing jealousy, that means you don't love me. And it's like, no, that's not really healthy. You know, and this is why we're here to really help people understand that you can have a healthy, long-lasting relationship without all the dramatic craziness, and you know, and really just enjoy yourself and have fun. And that's what we want to bring it back to, just having those healthy relationships. So this is why I'm very excited to be working on a project with Leslie and everything.
Okay. And Leslie, can you tell us about your next project, How to Love an Abused Person?
Yes, it's
a formerly
called,
abused person?
Well, I am a creative writer, so I have to admit the title
It's a
is
working
constantly
title.
changing.
It's a work in progress.
But the basis of the subject is how to date a formerly abused person. Top 10 tips. And basically, I met with random people on the streets of New York City.
A lot of research.
A lot of research, a little over a year now. And I'm very comfortable to say that it came from my own experience as a single, free woman being authentically myself as Leslie. And what this book is, I'm hoping will do, is serve as a springboard just to plant the seed. You know, it's very simple. There's 20 pages or less. Everyone's not a reader, and it's just enough to give you tips, as they're called, and allow that to be a seed for you to think.
You just never know what someone else has been through.
Exactly.
You just never know.
Exactly.
So, okay. Now, the program is going to be expanded this next coming fall?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How are you looking forward to that, and how much larger will it be?
I can't tell you how much larger it's going to be. Getting one additional parent to get involved and to move forward, that's a lot for me. So if I get 10,000, you can imagine. We have not actually set up how it's going to roll out yet in terms of the ABCs. We are working on that currently, but what we know is that we first want to open up these doors. We want to get you in. We want to know where we can help, what it is you're going through, how can we help move you forward so that we can ensure that your child succeeds in school. So I'm always going to go back to the school because that's what I do. And understanding that, I think one of the things that all schools should be open to is the diverse cultures that we have. So you need to know your children, you need to know those families, and in doing that, you should be able to determine what helps to motivate that child or what could be holding that child back. And that a lot of that is really and truly getting to know those families, which is one of the things that we are hoping. No, we're going to do this. It's going to happen. We're going to do this.
Exactly.
Surviving
That's
and
what's up.
thriving.
It's not in Bed-Stuy, but they're watching this and they're interested. They can still reach out in some type of support
Absolutely,
network
they
and
can
active
absolutely
We
website.
actually already
reach
have
out.
other parent
Okay.
coordinators
We're running out of
in
time,
one
so
school in
can you
East
just,
New York.
Get a website, or where can people reach out and write for information?
Well, right
Call.
now, they can reach out to me at swilliams25 at schools.nyc.gov. They can call me at 718-574 2357, extension 2061, or they can show up at Ron Brown Academy
MS57.
at 125 Stuyvesant Avenue, Brooklyn,
Bed-Stuy.
11221 in the haunted Bed-Stuy.
No doubt.
It's do or die. We're not dying, we're doing. We got to do.
And real quick before we go,
Hashim, who's going to do that?
and then Leslie, where do we find out more about the work you two are doing?
You can definitely check me out at MrLocario.com. That's MrLocario.com, and you can check me out. All my dating advice is on there, and I also have a seminar coming up next week, May 15th. Reclaim the Game: New Dating Rules for Men. So any guys out there want to come?
I'm going to send a few of my friends.
Send them there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we can take a Uber. We can take a Uber.
Exactly. Don't put anyone on blast.
And your
Leslie?
website, so we can.
Hashim and I are developing a town hall meeting. It's going to be dynamic, absolutely fabulous, where we will invite the public to come to an open forum to introduce the second book. And there's no labels. No one needs to sign up and make a status of any kind. Exactly. And we're going to do this, right?
There you go. Leslie Williams, Hashim Locario, Sophia Williams. Big ups to everyone at MS57 surviving and thriving out there. Thank you very much.
Celeste Douglas,
All right.